Every December, my family held a large dinner in my grandmother's old event hall. It was a tradition older than me. Loud music, bright decorations, and the same people who acted like they lived perfect lives. To everyone outside, our family looked united, but inside, it was a battlefield of gossip, comparison, pride, and fake success. This year, I almost didn't attend. I had thought of staying home, watching movies, eating noodles, and enjoying the calm that came from being alone. But something told me to go. Maybe because part of me wanted my family to see that I was no longer the quiet loser they thought I was. I arrived in a simple dress, nothing flashy, nothing loud. I didn't care for showing off. I just wanted peace. But peace was something I never got around my relatives. The moment I stepped inside the hall, the laughter stopped. Not because of my beauty, not because of my confidence, but because of the usual reason. "There she is!" Aunt Gloria shouted from across the room. "The broke child!" People laughed. The type of loud, sharp laughter that cuts through your skin and stays inside you. My chest tightened, but I kept walking. I had learned long ago that reacting only gave them more power. What they didn't know was that I had changed. What they didn't know was that life had given me a second chance. What they didn't know was that the person they mocked today would own their tomorrow. But they would learn soon, very soon. The dinner had barely started before the insults poured in. I sat at my usual corner, far from the center, far from the people who believed their chairs were thrones. My cousins strutted around in clothes they couldn't afford, talking about their big plans that never came to life. Aunt Gloria wasn't done with me. "Look at that bag she's carrying," she said loudly. "Probably bought from the roadside market." Her sister-in-law laughed. "Please, she can't afford even that. Someone must have dashed her." More laughter. I scratched my palm slowly, a habit I had whenever I wanted to stay calm. Then my cousin Neil added, "Maybe next year she can buy a real wig." I ignored them, because unlike them, I had nothing to prove. If my family knew the truth, none of them would laugh. 2 years ago, after losing my job and almost losing my mind, I started an online business from my tiny apartment. No one believed in me. Not my mother, not my siblings, and definitely not my relatives. They said I was wasting my time. They said I was lazy. They said I wanted an easy life. They didn't know the hours I worked, the late nights, the tears, the days without sleep, the failures that nearly broke me. But I didn't give up. Slowly, very slowly, things began to change. Orders started coming. Customers trusted me. I expanded. I hired staff. I registered a company. I grew it quietly. Today, that little business was worth millions, but nobody knew. I kept my life private. My success stayed in silence. I didn't dress rich. I didn't brag. I didn't act different. So they assumed I was still the same old broke child. Their mistake. As the dinner went on, I overheard Aunt Gloria whispering to a woman beside her. She said, fanning herself dramatically, "My landlord is stressing me again. He wants rent this week. I told him times are hard." "Won't he give you more time?" the woman asked. Aunt Gloria rolled her eyes. "He said this is my 3rd warning. I swear, the man is heartless." I smiled without meaning to. Just 3 days ago, my company had bought that property, and the new landlord she was complaining about was me. My assistant had already sent her a gentle notice, not to threaten her, but to make her take responsibility. The old management had been too lenient. We were fixing things. She didn't know the owner's identity because everything went through the company name. And the company name? Mine. As dessert was being served, I saw Aunt Gloria checking her phone under the table. Her eyes widened. She gasped loudly. "What is this?" she shouted. People turned. "This useless landlord again? Another warning? Eviction? Me?" She stood up abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. I heard whispers. "Eviction? She's in trouble. What happened?" She paced around the hall until she spotted me, and I knew the moment was coming. My aunt rushed to my table as if she had seen a miracle. "Nora, please," she said urgently, grabbing my wrist. "You have to help me." I blinked slowly. Help her? The same woman who embarrassed me every year? The same woman who loved humiliating me? The same woman who called me a failure louder than anyone else? You want my help? I asked quietly. Yes, yes, just a little. I will pay back. Everyone's attention fell on us. Her voice shook. Mine did not. Aunt Gloria, I said gently, I am the broke child, remember? Her face stiffened. The room went silent. My cousins rushed forward to defend her. No need for attitude, Neil hissed. She's older than you. Another cousin added, You don't even contribute anything to this family. Why act like you have money? I almost laughed. These people had no idea who they were talking to. But time reveals everything. Right when Neil finished talking, my phone rang loudly. It was my real estate manager. I pressed the speaker button without thinking. Good evening, Ma. I need your approval for the eviction signature so we can finalize the process. The room froze. Aunt Gloria's lips trembled. Eviction? Approval? You? She looked at me like she had seen a ghost. My manager continued. It's for tenant Gloria Williams. She hasn't paid rent in... I'll call you back, I said calmly and hung up. Everyone stared at me. Everyone. You're the landlord? Aunt Gloria whispered. No, I corrected softly. I'm the owner. Her jaw dropped. People exchanged shocked glances. My cousin Neil stuttered, How? How can you own anything? I shrugged. People grow, people change, people work hard quietly. Aunt Gloria grabbed the chair beside me and sat down abruptly like her legs couldn't hold her. For the first time in my life, the room was quiet because of me, not in mockery, but in shock. Aunt Gloria placed both hands on her face. She was trembling. You want to throw me out? She whispered. No, I said. I simply expected you to pay what you owe. But I don't have the money yet, she said tearfully. So you want me to fund your lifestyle while you insult mine? I asked gently. She looked down. The truth had finally humbled her. People began murmuring, Help her. She's family. She deserves support. Others whispered louder, She mocked her for years. She always looked down on her. She's reaping what she sowed. But I had already made up my mind. I leaned forward. Aunt Gloria, I said, I will not evict you. You can stay. Everyone sighed in relief. But, I added firmly, things will change. She looked up slowly. What condition? I lifted my chin and said, You will stop calling me broke. Stop insulting me. Stop embarrassing me in front of people. No more mockery. She swallowed hard. I promise I won't do it again. Never. I believed her, not because she had changed, but because life had forced her to. When word spread that I owned a major property, relatives who never liked me started acting friendly. Wow, you've grown so much. I always knew you'd make it. Can we talk about business? I ignored their fake smiles. Some cousins began searching my company online. They found my interviews, my partnerships, my investment projects. Their eyes bulged. She's a millionaire, Neil whispered. Suddenly, I became the center of attention. But attention didn't impress me. I had survived without it. Not everyone reacted with jealousy. My grandmother held my hand proudly. You've done well, my child, she whispered. Success doesn't need noise. My younger cousins asked for advice. Some wanted internships, some wanted mentorship. I realized that maybe, just maybe, not all family members were toxic. Some just needed guidance. Later that night, Aunt Gloria walked up to me quietly. She sat beside me like a child being punished. Nora, she said softly, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? I asked, wanting her to say it. For calling you broke, for laughing at you, for treating you like you were below me. I didn't know. I didn't know. You didn't need to know, I said gently. You only needed to be kind. Tears rolled down her cheeks. This time, she was truly humble. She confessed something I never expected. I mocked you because I was jealous. My eyes widened. You jealous? Of me? She nodded. You had peace, you had focus, you had dreams. I hated that. I pretended to be strong, but I was drowning financially, and mocking you made me feel better about my own failures. Her honesty surprised me. For the first time, I saw her as a human being, not just a bully. Even though she had hurt me for years, I felt no desire to destroy her. I took a deep breath. I won't punish you, I said. I'll help you. She looked up slowly. But you must also help yourself. No more unnecessary spending, no more competition with people who don't care about you. She nodded eagerly. I will do better, she said. I promise. Word traveled fast. Some relatives became polite, some became nicer, some pretended to not remember the times they insulted me, but the shift was clear. The person they mocked had become the person they respected, and not because of money, but because I carried myself with dignity. A few months after the incident, Aunt Gloria visited my office. She looked smaller, calmer, different. She wanted to say thank you, she said. You didn't embarrass me when you could have. You didn't throw me out. You didn't show off. You taught me something. I smiled carefully. What did I teach you? That mocking someone doesn't make you better, and that success doesn't need to shout. It was the most mature thing she had ever said to me. Aunt Gloria actually changed. She cut down her expenses. She stopped comparing her life to others. She became more humble. She even apologized to other relatives she had hurt. People noticed the difference. Some said she's calmer these days. Others said she must have learned a hard lesson. They were right. Sometimes life humbles you through the same people you look down on. December came again. It was time for the annual family dinner. I wore another simple outfit, not expensive, not loud, just comfortable. But this time, when I entered the hall, something was different. People stood up to greet me. They hugged me. They shook my hand warmly. They asked how I was doing. No mockery, no insults, just respect. Aunt Gloria walked up to me holding a tray. For you, she said with a smile. She served me a drink herself. I could tell her respect was real. Instead of sitting at my usual corner, I was invited to the main table, right in the center. My grandmother spoke proudly. This year, she said, we honor Nora for her strength, her growth, and her kindness. Everyone clapped. I felt something I had never felt at a family event, belonging. After dinner, some relatives gathered around me. Thank you for how you handled last year, one aunt said. You could have disgraced Gloria. Yes, another added, but you used kindness instead. I simply smiled because I knew something they didn't. Kindness is not weakness, it is strength used wisely. As the night ended, I stood outside the hall looking at the decorations, the cars, the people laughing. A year ago, I was the family joke. Today, I was the one they admired. Life had changed, but I had not changed who I was. I stayed calm, I stayed focused, I stayed silent. Because silence is powerful. It protects you while you grow. Before leaving, Aunt Gloria hugged me gently. You're the child we are proud of now, she whispered. I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I didn't feel like I won anything. Instead, I felt peace, because the greatest revenge is simply becoming more than they expected.